You saw Penix, you saw Kirk. Do you think we're going to see more and more of Penix now?
Well, the feeling before the game I got talking to folks around there was they want to really, they really want him to get a chance to sit for 2 years and get Kirk Cousins through, this next year. He had them in first place. He was coming off a little bit of a rough game previously. I don't know if that changes when Kirk throws four picks, including a pick six, and you lose the ball game. And it's like, I don't want to overreact off one moment that I happen to be there for, but it's going to be a lot more tempting. If the performance is uneven, it's going to be very tempting to see what you have there and want to open that Christmas present a little early.
Well, and that's interesting what you said about them wanting to perhaps to sit him for 2 years, because as you know, with the CBA that was put in place, when I was still in the league, and it's still in place now, although it's been revised, it is much, much, much harder for a team to sit players. We saw Aaron Rodgers sit behind Brett Favre. We've seen other quarterbacks sit, and that's been to their benefit. It's harder to do that under the current CBA.
Yeah, no kidding. What were people saying about Penix?
There's excitement. There's genuine excitement. You can just see it when the way he throws the ball, the way the ball kind of jumps out of his hand. And by all accounts, he's, him and Kirk have got along well. There's been no issues there that I've heard anything about. So they're both, and I've known Kirk Cousins for a long time. He's a good dude. He's just a really solid, good dude. Penix, everything I've heard, I don't know him as well. I've not heard one bad thing about him. So I think they're getting along fine. I think they're very excited about him. The challenge is going to be normally when you say, okay, we want to be able to fully utilize the advantage of the rookie contract. We want to get the rookie out there, get him up to speed. Let's make some mistakes in the first year or two, and then we still can reap the benefits of your cheap salary cap number for a couple years before we have to do that big second deal. The challenge now is that literally Kirk's there. I mean, they've got big money invested in Kirk Cousins this year and next year. So that points at least to the initial plan, which was, we want to give him, a couple years here. And Jordan Love is probably the most recent example of that having paid off. I'm fascinated. If you talk about looking forward to the, a topic you guys will have a lot of fun with. What are the Vikings going to do? I mean, off-season wise, that's the fascinating one to me. I mean, Sam Darnold's got them at 10-2. He's playing really well. But you've got JJ McCarthy. Obviously the injury took him off their plans for this year. But going into the future, gosh, do we tag and keep Sam Darnold? Do we tag and trade Sam Darnold? Do we just let Sam Darnold walk and just give JJ the ball right now? I looked up the numbers. In Sam's season, there's actually a lot of similarities, not the win-loss record, but statistically, to Alex Smith in the Mahomes redshirt year. Very similar with Alex Smith. And they still, even though they were, a winning team, and he was at 67% completions and 4,000 yards around there for Alex Smith. And they just said, well, but we know what we have in Mahomes, and he can take this offense to another gear. So thank you, Alex, and we're going to give this thing over to Mahomes year 2. What do the Minnesota Vikings do next year? That's going to be a fascinating one.
I mean, don't you think they're going to be tempted to see what JJ can do? I mean, what do you do there? That's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, Sam, and much like Alex Smith, I mean, I think that's a similarity is that you have a team that's winning. The veterans love them with Alex Smith and with Sam Darnold. And it's like, okay, I hope JJ's good, but I don't know if he's good. That to me comes down to the conviction. Andy Reid had that conviction that Mahomes was just a totally different animal. And we'll find out, I guess, in the offseason if Kevin O'Connell feels like JJ McCarthy is capable of tapping into a gear that Sam doesn't have.
And one thing Andy did and the Chiefs did that I thought they handled just tremendously well was they had a very direct conversation with Alex. And they said to him, look, Patrick is who we believe our quarterback of the future is. And because they were so forthright with him and so clear and so direct, Alex did everything he could to help Patrick come along. And, perhaps the same can happen with Sam and JJ.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is that Patrick's skill set is so otherworldly that the players couldn't ignore that. And I like JJ a lot, and JJ's talented, but I don't know if we were to go down to the park and we were to watch Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy throw a football, if we would say, oh my gosh, this guy's from another planet than that guy.
I will meet you at the park and throw a football anytime you want.
Kids don't do that anymore, by the way. Golly, those are the fun days growing up.
Right?
Check out new episodes of What the Football with Suzy Shuster and Amy Trask every Tuesday. Watch us on the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page or follow and listen wherever you get your podcasts.